All right, guys, I wanted to check, sorry, and make sure the mic was working. Hey, guys, I wanted to make sure that I fully sort of, or at least better expanded upon one of the topics I talked about on the Joe Rogan Experience the other day. So one, I mentioned this study that's going to be presented at a world conference by Dr. Matthew Budoff, who is a leading authority on CT angiography and the development of atherosclerotic heart disease. In other words, do my arteries clog up in my heart? And what they're doing on December 8th is they're going to be revealing the data. Well, we know the data, but they're comparing the data to like a general population, right? And this is and why is this very important? Well, if we have age-matched controls, like average people in their mid-50s, they all have a baseline level of heart disease. Some will have a lot, some will have a little, but the overall average will be whatever it is, right? And then you have this other group, these crazy ketogenic, carnivore, high-fat, high cholesterol people, right? Which by every single sort of bit of traditional or dogma, I wouldn't say dogma, I will say dogma, by every single cardiologist would expect that group would have higher rates of cardiovascular disease, right? Because these people have all been doing this type for many years, and they've had very long exposure to very high levels of LDL and total cholesterol, and ApoB for that matter. And all those things have been looked at in the study. And the levels are not like, mildly elevated. These are like super elevated. These are like LDL cholesterol of 300, 400, and 500 in some cases. And so this is significant. And what the data show, we already know what the baseline data is for that group. It's very low. Many of them, most of them had zero heart disease, clean arteries, right? Even in their mid-50s. Some people even older. So that in itself should be like groundbreaking. But then you officially compare it to this group. When that study comes out on the 8th, I'm of course going to be talking about it. I'll go over the full results with you guys, as will Nick Norwitz and Dave Feldman and some of the other people that are involved in the study, I'm sure. And I will do my best to get that in front of Joe Rogan, because we talked about it in the thing and he seemed a little bit curious. So I've told them that I will do my best to get it over there. So maybe he can mention it on his show, because obviously he has a bigger reach than kind of all of us combined. But that brings another point up. All of us combined, right? All you guys watching my channel or on or other parts of social media, it's important for all of us to spread this information, because very likely the New York Times will not share it. It will probably not make CNN. It probably will not make, whatever. You pick your media of choice, right? They're probably going to largely ignore it in the most case, or they might try to dismiss it. That's what typically they do. They sift this and then they kind of downplay its significance, and then say, oh, here's our learned lipidologist to tell you why that's wrong, and we should ignore that study, right? That is how the game is played, and knowing how the game is played, it is up to us. Remember, we have a lot of power when we act collectively, guys. So it's important to get this information out there to as many people as possible, to get the conversation going, because, you have to realize, science these days is not so much about finding the truth. In many cases, it's just, selling a product or propaganda, and that's why we just watch the headline. We read the headline. Oh, CNN's telling me, or USA Today is telling me that meat is bad for you, or cholesterol is bad for me. It's going to kill me. When the science, the actual science, may not actually agree with that. But most people have dismissed it. So it's up to you guys to be your individual media outlets and share it as far and wide as possible. Put a post on Twitter or X, put an Instagram post, put a YouTube commentary about it, put a, Facebook, whatever media you're on that you think you can reach the most people. This information and all these things are very critical. And, the other thing is, once these things are published in journals, you need to send people links to those journal links. That's how those things get more and more exposure. That's how the researchers that are brave enough to do this type of research continue to get funding and continue to get access to publications, right? So otherwise they're not. They're publishing, in the veterinary journal of Turkmenistan or something that's going to read. So you want to get these guys supported, right? And that's what it's about: supporting each other, and making a difference. Because, like I said, we collectively have a lot of power. Who you support and who you choose not to support is really what it's about. We talk about, you just saw Elon Musk going off about his advertisers, right? And a lot of people say, oh, it's horrific. Oh my God, he's going to lose all this advertising revenue. The advertisers have power only when you buy their product, only when you support their company. And so if an advertiser doesn't, wants to put pressure on you to say, to restrict your speech in some way, you just say, we're going to restrict your income, right? We have power here, guys. All right, guys. Let me know what you think. I'm interested, of course, the 8th is, a week away or so, or whatever it is, 9 days away. I'll let you know. You guys have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.